Hey guys, in our last session, your cunning and strategy truly shone through. You set a masterful ambush, catching the unsuspecting goblin horde completely off guard. The highlight? Tronald's spectacular display of arcane mastery, unleashing not just one, but two earth-shattering fireballs. The blaze engulfed the majority of the goblins, searing the battlefield with its fury. But the goblins weren't going down without a fight. They put up a tough battle, their ferocity and Braga's vile magic almost overwhelming you at times. It was a grueling struggle with a few close calls that nearly saw some of you fall. However, your resilience and teamwork prevailed. After a fierce and chaotic battle, the dust settled with you emerging victorious, and one bewildered goblin left in your clutches, now hog-tied and awaiting your judgment. So what do you want to do?
So why did you think raiding this farmstead, full of innocent people, was a good idea?
Raarh, as you tower over the captured goblin, his eyes meet yours with a defiant glare. Spitting out his words with venom, the goblin sneers, "I ain't answering anything from you, just kill me and be done with it, you filthy blood traitor." His voice is laced with contempt and resignation, clearly showing no intention of cooperating or pleading for his life.
We very well might, but I think I'll leave that for your new boss to decide.
The goblin's confusion rapidly transforms into a mix of anger and disbelief. With a scornful laugh, he spits out his words, dripping with contempt and a crude edge. "New boss? What are you blabbering about, you big oaf? Ain't no goblin in their right mind gonna take orders from any of you lot. You're just making up fairy tales now. Go on then, get it over with."
What's your name anyway?
Your question seems to catch the goblin off guard for a moment. He tilts his head up, a sardonic smile slowly spreading across his grimy face. He eyes you up with a mocking glint in his eyes before saying, "I ain't telling you nothing." Then with defiance, he gathers saliva in his mouth and spits directly at you, Raarh.
You shouldn't have did that.
Joe, I kicked the goblin in the face, not trying to injure him, but just to let him know how I feel about his disrespect. All right then. I'll just refer to you as little shit.
We should probably head back inside and check on Harland and his family.
Yeah. All right, Joe. I grab little shit by the scruff of his neck and begin dragging him back to the homestead.
Okay, as you firmly grip little shit by the scruff of his neck, you all start your trek back to the homestead. You navigate through the darkened fields, lit only by the moon's glow, stepping carefully around toxic pools that have formed from the lethal concoctions unleashed in the fight. The ground is a morbid tapestry, stained with the blood of goblins and the remnants of Braga's foul magic. Throughout this eerie procession, the hog-tied goblin cackles with unsettling hysteria, his laughter echoing through the night, adding a layer of disturbing ambiance to the scene. His mirth seems undiminished by his capture or the rough handling, as if he finds some twisted joy in the chaos he helped create. Upon reaching the homestead, the laughter abruptly stops, replaced by a chilling silence. The sight that greets you is a broken door, its remnants a stark indication that the night's horrors didn't end on the battlefield. The once secure entrance now lies in ruin, suggesting that danger has breached the walls of the homestead. In this tense moment, the goblin's tone shifts from mockery to a sinister insinuation. "Uh-oh. I hope there was nobody important to you in there," he says, his voice dripping with a twisted glee.
Well, this doesn't look great. How did they manage to get around us?
Who knows? But we should proceed with caution. Who knows how many of them are still lurking inside?
All right, Joe. With my armor still active, I'm going to make my way inside and look around. What do I see?
Make a perception check for me.
That's a 15 total.
Saxy, with your keen half-elven eyesight, you carefully survey the unsettling scene inside the homestead. The absence of light is no hindrance to you, allowing you to discern details that remain hidden in the gloom. The room is a scene of disarray and violence. Scraps of clothing lie torn and scattered across the floor, and the furniture is broken, suggesting a fierce struggle. Amidst the chaos, you notice small glimmers on the ground, scattered coins, silvers, and coppers seemingly dropped in the commotion. But what draws your attention most is the disturbing trail of blood. It weaves through the wreckage, a dark and ominous path leading towards what seems to be a trapdoor, where the sinister trail which is soaking into the floorboards ends abruptly.
Okay, I whisper to the rest of the group what I can see. My bet is that whatever attacked is lurking down there.
Well, I'm not about to waste any more time. Gaba, Harland, or his family could be seriously injured or worse. Joe, I cast light before running toward the trapdoor and attempting to rip it open.
Tronald, with a sense of urgency fueling your actions, you quickly cast the light spell. The room, once shrouded in darkness, is suddenly bathed in a bright, warm glow. The light illuminates the scene of disarray and stark clarity, making the torn scraps of clothing and shattered furniture all the more jarring. The coins on the floor glint sharply and the blood trail becomes vividly pronounced. Wasting no time, you dash towards the trapdoor, the urgency of the situation propelling you forward. As you reach it, you grab hold of the handle and pull with all your might. However, it doesn't budge. It seems to be locked or barred from the inside. You can feel the resistance as you strain against it, the muscles in your arms tensing with the effort. Tronald, make a strength check to see if you can force it open.
Nah, don't hurt yourself, brother. I've got this. Joe, I throw little shit over to Saxy. Keep an eye on him, will you? Then, I make my way over to the trapdoor and rip it off its hinges. That's a 22 total, Joe.
Raarh, with a determined grunt, you effortlessly toss little shit over to Saxy. The goblin, bound and helpless, rolls across the floor like a sausage flung from the skillet. His eyes are wide with fear and surprise, but he quickly regains some semblance of composure. Suddenly, the goblin starts to wail and scream, his voice shrill and piercing in the otherwise silent room. It's clear he's trying to make as much noise as possible, likely in an attempt to alert any of his allies who might be lurking in the shadows beneath the trapdoor. His shouts echo throughout the homestead.
For fuck's sake. I punch little shit in his mouth before holding my armored hands over them.
Saxy, you react swiftly to the screams of little shit. With a swift and precise movement, you land a solid punch right to the goblin's mouth. The impact sends a clear message, silencing him momentarily out of sheer shock. The room falls quiet for a brief moment, the only sound being the echo of your punch. But little shit, stubborn and defiant, attempts to scream again, his voice muffled and weak. Without hesitation, you move to wrap your armored hands around his face, effectively muffling any further attempts at noise. He writhes and squirms, trying desperately to bite at your fingers, but it's a futile effort. The thick, sturdy armor of your gauntlets proves impervious to his sharp but relatively weak goblin teeth. Held firmly in your grasp, little shit's attempts at alerting others become nothing more than muffled grunts and frustrated gnawing against your armor. Yet you feel as though the damage has already been done, and whatever is lurking beneath the floor has been fully alerted to your presence.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about what's going on over there, Joe. I continue to the trapdoor.
All right. Undeterred by the goblin's noise, you continue towards the trapdoor. With a deep breath, you grip the edges of the heavy wooden barrier, and with a mighty heave, you rip it clean off its hinges. The sound of splintering wood and metal fills the room as the trapdoor is torn away, revealing the darkness below.
I'm going to shine my light down there and see what's going on.
Tronald, you direct your light spell into the dark abyss below the trapdoor. The beam penetrates the gloom, revealing the details of the underground space. As the light floods the area, it's met with sudden movement. Out of the shadows, a figure lunges towards you with startling speed. It's a goblin, its blade gleaming menacingly in the artificial light. The blade arcs through the air, aiming straight for you, every muscle in your body tensing in anticipation of the impact. Time seems to slow as the blade draws closer, your mind racing through possible reactions. But then, just as quickly as the attack started, it halts. Inches from you, the blade stops in midair. The goblin's eyes, previously narrowed in aggression, widen in recognition. It's Goba. The adrenaline-fueled intensity on his face shifts to a mixture of relief and joy as he realizes it's you. With a sigh that's almost a laugh, he drops his weapon, the blade clattering noisily against the floor.
Ah, Boss Tronald, it's you. I was thinking we were done for.
What happened here, Goba?
Well, it started with pots and pans, right? I was in the kitchen, snacking on some leftovers, when these two sneaky gobos snuck in. Gave me quite the scare, they did. But old human and I, we weren't having any of it. We grabbed whatever was close. I had a frying pan, and he grabbed this big old rolling pin. We were like warriors in a kitchen battlefield. But it weren't all pots and pans. Got real dangerous, it did. One of them gobos had a knife, nearly got old human good. But I jumped in, took a slice across the arm. Hurt like fuck it did, but I wasn't about to let them hurt him. The fight got fierce when we backed into the cellar. Tight space, nowhere to run. It was wild. We were swinging and dodging, barely keeping those sneaky gits at bay. Old human, he's tough as nails. When one of the gobos had him by the throat, he headbutted him so hard I thought the goblin's head would pop off. By the end, we were both a mess, covered in bruises and cuts. But we did it. Goba and old human protected the family.
Wow, well, you've made me very proud, Goba. You've not only shown that you deserve to be my student, but that you're going to excel at being the goblin boss. Well done, Goba.
How's everyone looking, Joe? Does anyone need healing?
Saxy, as you survey the aftermath, the toll of the battle is evident. Goba, despite his triumphant retelling, is in a bad way. Blood oozes from several deep cuts, his breathing heavy and ragged. He's trying to maintain a brave face, but it's clear he's hurting. Harland, on the other hand, is a picture of sheer exhaustion, leaning heavily against the cellar wall. His body is a map of injuries. Cuts and stabs mar his skin. His eyes are heavy, and his breaths are shallow. It's a miracle he's still conscious. It seems that his family are surrounding him, trying to give him any kind of medical attention that they can muster.
I walk over to Harland and cast Cure Wounds on him.
I'm gonna do the same thing, but to Goba.
All right, Saxi and Lunaria, as you both focus your energies, you weave the healing magic around Harland and Goba. Your hands glow with a soothing light, and as you pass them over the injuries, you watch the wounds begin to knit together, the magic mending flesh and bone. Harland's cuts visibly seal, his breathing steadies, a look of relief washing over his tired face. Goba's wounds also close, his ragged breathing eases, and a grateful grin spreads across his goblin features.
How are you feeling, Harland? Better?
Harland nods gratefully at you, Saxi, drawing a deep, steadying breath that seems to carry the weight of his inner turmoil. Physically, I'm much better now, thanks to your healing. But inside, my thoughts were dark, consumed with anger towards Goba. I saw him alone in my homestead, and all I could think about was revenge for what his kind did to my home, my family. His eyes, filled with a mix of regret and newfound understanding, don't meet yours. Instead, they stare blankly past you, as if seeing something beyond the cellar walls. But he saved us all. I was so wrong about him, about so many things. I've learned something vital today. Change, real change, is not only possible, it's necessary. It's a hard lesson, but a crucial one. My kids, they deserve to grow up in a world that isn't blinded by hate, where people are judged by their deeds, not their lineage or race. Goba, that goblin, that race I have despised for so many years, he's opened my eyes in a world rife with conflict and prejudice. He's a beacon of hope. My family and I owe him our lives, and I owe him my gratitude for showing me a path to a better future.
I understand what you're going through, Harland. The prejudices of this world are like chains, heavy and hard to break. For the longest time, I too believed change was a pipe dream, an impossible feat. But then, life introduced me to someone extraordinary, someone whose perspective on life was like a beacon in the dark. This person, he opened my eyes to possibilities I never dared to imagine. He taught me that this world, our world, doesn't have to be ruled by deceit and manipulation, but can be guided by compassion and understanding. This person, whom I hold in high regard, may not fully grasp the impact he's had on me, but I firmly believe that if there's anyone capable of ushering in a wave of genuine, lasting change, it's him. So, Harland, don't lose heart in the face of past prejudices. Change is not just a distant dream, it's a reality waiting to be shaped, and I am convinced that together, with the right hearts and minds leading the way, we can turn that dream into our new world.
Harland, still leaning heavily against the wall, looks up at you, Saxi, with a newfound respect glinting in his eyes. If what you say is true, and you all are the heralds of this new world, then I reckon you'll need all the strength you can muster. Rest, then. All of you. You've earned it more than you know. And as for me, well, I think I'll be joining you in that. He pushes himself off the wall, his movement slow but determined. You've given an old man a lot to think about. And maybe, just maybe, a glimpse of a world I never thought I'd live to see. With those words, he begins to shuffle his way out of the cellar, followed by his family, leaving you all to your own devices.
Well, I don't know about you lot, but I'm fucked. So I'll be going to sleep now. Joe, I collapse on the floor and immediately fall into a deep sleep.
Yeah, I think I'll be joining him with that, but not here. I'll be sleeping in an actual bed. Joe, I head up to the chambers and go to sleep.
Okay, so are you all doing the same?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey guys, did I ever tell you about Gribble Sparkfizz?
Who the hell's Gribble?
Well, he was a kobold I knew a long time ago, but it seems he's turned to a life of crime. I mean, look at this, attacking innocent people for no reason. It's disgusting.
Did you actually ever know a Gribble, or was that just a cheap attempt to find a suitable sponsor placement?
Yes, I knew a Gribble, so don't you dare question my integrity. Oh, but while we're talking about sponsors, if you guys haven't checked out Geek Nights already, you definitely should. It's like if Hollywood had a baby with Dungeons and Dragons and that baby grew up to do its own stunts. They turn wild D&D adventures into live-action thrillers.
Yeah, you definitely just made that up so you could do that segment.
No, I didn't. Anyway, because you're being a douche, I'm glad that they decided to make Raarh's mini before they made yours.
Wait, what? I thought it was going to be me next.
Well, if you stop insulting my honor, maybe, just maybe, I'll try get you one. Anyway, for anyone who donates $25 or more, using our special link in the description, you can now bag yourself a Raarh mini.
That's awesome.
You reckon I could get my own mini, Tronald?
Hell no. You don't even have a character. There's no way you'll be getting a mini before
Head
me.
over to their Kickstarter in the description, and let's make this happen.
The four of you, Tronald, Saxi, Lunaria, and Alexandrew, emerge from the cellar, passing by Raarh, who lies in a deep, undisturbed slumber on the hard floor. You each find your way to your chambers, and one by one you settle into these modest beds, your bodies aching, but your hearts lightened by the deeds done and the lives saved. The stillness of the night wraps around you like a blanket, and as your eyes close, the world outside fades away. Sleep comes quickly, deep and restorative, carrying you away from the trials of the day into the peace of the night.
What about Goba? Where's he sleeping?
Oh, as soon as Raarh fell to the floor, Goba joined him, almost curling up to him like a cat.
Oh, that's sweet.
Tronald, as sleep takes hold, your mind is suddenly plunged into a vivid dream. You find yourself standing in a bedchamber of opulent luxury, a stark contrast to the humble room in which you fell asleep. The chamber is surrounded with platinum ornaments and dominated by a massive bed draped in fine silk. Its grandeur dwarfs the entire homestead where your physical form currently resides. In the doorway, you're in the midst of a tense conversation with a man, his words dripping with veiled threats. Remember your place, Lord Taniver. You may be the right hand of the Emperor, but your secret, if it were to be known, well, I very much doubt your tale would have a happy ending. His sinister smile chills you to the bone as he departs, leaving you alone with your fury. Slamming the door shut, you're overwhelmed with anger and frustration. The opulent room suddenly feels more like a gilded cage, trapping you with your own emotions. Your attention is drawn to two young boys playing on the bed. Unchecked, your anger spills over. Will you get off there before you break something or hurt yourselves? Get to your rooms now, both of you. The younger child, about 5 years old, scampers away in fear, quickly followed by the other, a 9-year-old boy who leaves with a calm defiance. Believing yourself alone, your anger collapses into despair, and you break down, sobbing into your hands. But then a gentle touch on your back startles you. It's the 9-year-old Aerith hugging you. His innocent voice cuts through the silence. "Why do you hate us, Father?" Your reply is heavy with emotion. "I don't hate you, Aerith. I love you. It's your actions I despise. I spend more time covering your messes than guiding Emperor Valerius towards what's to come." Your frustration is palpable as you pull away from the hug, turning your back on him. Then Aerith's voice, so young yet suggesting something dark. "Why not kill them, the ones threatening us? You could guide Valerius into a new age with no resistance." You turn slowly, rage boiling inside you, meeting Aerith's gaze. But just as you're about to speak, the dream shatters like glass. You're jolted awake, drenched in a cold sweat, the echoes of the dream lingering hauntingly in your mind.
Man, I really hate these dreams. Is anyone else awake yet, Joe?
Your eyes sweep across the room, the bedclothes tangled in a testament to your restless slumber. However, the familiar forms of your companions are absent, their empty bedrolls bathed in a soft, beautiful light filtering through the window shutters.
All right, I'm going to leave the room and find them.
Tronald, shaking off the remnants of the dream, you decide to venture out of the room in search of your companions. Your feet meet the coolness of the floor, grounding you back to reality. The house is unusually quiet, yet there's a comforting stillness in the air, like the gentle calm of an early morning. The familiar surroundings, though devoid of their usual bustle, carry a sense of reassuring normalcy. The stillness doesn't feel oppressive, instead it's like a blank canvas waiting for the day's experiences to paint their vibrant strokes. As you walk through the corridors, the memories of laughter and shared moments with your friends seem to echo softly within your mind. It's at this moment you hear a muffled scream.
Boss Tronald, help!
I run to the door, Joe. What the hell's going on?
Without a second thought, you dash towards the door, driven by an instinctive need to protect and assist. Your feet pound against the wooden floor, each step amplifying the urgency of the situation. As you reach the door, a fleeting moment of hesitation grips you, a brief struggle between the fear instilled by your nightmare and the resolve to face whatever lies beyond. With a deep breath, you thrust the door open, stepping into the unknown. A reluctant courage guides you to step outside. It's then a horror, far beyond your worst nightmares, manifests into a gruesome reality. Before you, A ghastly mountain of corpses reaches toward the heavens, a grotesque testament to an unspeakable atrocity. Your heart hammers in your chest, a frantic drumbeat in the still morning air. A chilling recognition dawns upon you as you spot the lifeless faces of Saxiron, Raarh, Lunaria, and Alexandrew amidst the macabre pile, their eyes forever closed. Their faces frozen in agony.
What the hell? I spin around. Joe, can I see anyone?
Panicked and disoriented, you spin around only to be confronted with more scenes of horror. Master Shenzhou, Charismatic Asmo, Harlan, Dalter, and Captain Jake Eagle lay before you in twisted repose, their broken bodies, bones twisted and snapped, painting a nightmarish tableau. Their accusing stares bore into you, a silent indictment that cuts far deeper than any blade. Desperate to flee this waking nightmare, you turn and dash back through the doorway, only to be met by fate's cruelest blow. Your momentum carries you straight into Celestia, and to your abject horror, you're holding a blade. Time seems to slow as the weapon drives mercilessly into her heart. She falls back, her lifeblood ebbing away, her final words a whispered condemnation that sears into your soul. You killed us all.
Celestia, no, this can't be. I didn't mean for this to happen. How did this... Why are you here? Why is everyone gone? Why are they all dead?
Tronald, as you witness Celestia collapse, the blade in your hand and her life drifting away, a scream of anguish erupts from you, shattering the stillness. The raw emotion in your voice seems to ripple through the very air, trembling with the weight of despair and guilt. In this moment of unbridled grief and desperation, magic responds instinctively to your pain, gathering and swirling with a life of its own. It's as if the universe itself is resonating with your agony, coalescing into a potent, volatile vortex of energy that you unleash without intention or control. From the depths of your torment emerges the cataclysmic force of a supernova. A radiant point of light, small at first, bursts forth from the core of your being, rapidly expanding into a colossal sphere of roaring, searing flames. The fire consumes everything in its path with the fury of a dying star, merciless and unstoppable. The mountainous pile of corpses, the remnants of your friends and allies, ignites in a merciless inferno. The homestead, once a sanctuary, offers no resistance as it is engulfed and obliterated, reduced to nothing but ash and cinders in mere moments. And then, as swiftly as it manifested, the supernova implodes upon itself, creating a cataclysmic shockwave. The very earth trembles and heaves, torn asunder by the force of the implosion. You feel yourself being hurled sideways by the tremendous power, the world a blur as you're flung through the air at unfathomable speeds. The air screams around you, the ground a distant memory as you're carried helplessly in the maelstrom. The devastation below is a rapidly expanding chasm of chaos, a testament to the unbridled energy unleashed in your moment of despair. But then, in the midst of this chaos, reality takes a sudden, disorienting turn. The blistering heat, the roaring flames, the landscape of destruction all dissolve into nothingness. In their place, the firm, grounding shake of Raarh's large hands brings you back to reality.
Wake the fuck up, Tronald!
Huh, you're here. You're all alive.
Of course we're all alive. You were the one who we thought was fucking dying. Jesus, man. You nearly gave us all heart attacks. You were convulsing and squirming like nothing we've ever seen before.
You looked like you was possessed.
Yeah, that's got to be the most horrifying thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was awful it was. While you were thrashing around, shaking and all, the room started heating up something fierce. Got so hot, I was sure we were all gonna turn to puddles. It was like being in a giant cooking pot, I tell you.
What do you mean the room got hot?
It wasn't just the room that got hot, Tronald. Everything did. I mean, fuck. Literally everything outside that wasn't already damaged started combusting. The only reason it didn't in here was because we were dousing everything with water.
Tronald, as you take in Saxi's words, your gaze sweeps across the room, and the evidence of what transpired becomes starkly clear. Everything around you is drenched, water pooling on the floor and dripping from the furniture. Even your own clothes are sodden, clinging uncomfortably to your skin. As you move, you notice the steam gently rising, the last remnants of an intense heat slowly dissipating into the air.
So you're telling me parts of my dream were real?
I don't know, man. What was your dream?
I tell them all about the first dream and the second dream.
Okay, so obviously what happened in your dream wasn't real, because here we are still breathing. But the crazy part is how your body reacted to whatever nightmare you were having. It was like you were trying to let loose a power that even you don't understand how to control. It's got to be something to do with Lord Tanavir's influence seeping into your consciousness. I mean, think about it, Tronald. If you had been in that state for any longer, that supernova you were on the brink of unleashing might have actually happened. We're talking about a power you don't even know how to wield.
I don't know what to say, guys. I'm sorry. I wish I knew why this was happening to me.
So you've got two sons then, Tronald?
Yeah, obviously. Didn't I tell you guys about them before?
No, you really didn't. You specifically said you had one son.
It seems like whenever I think I'm getting a semblance of understanding about my previous life, the board gets flipped upside down all over again. But yeah, I had two sons. Both were to different mothers.
And do you remember anything about these two women?
I mean, the details are a little iffy, but I remember my second wife, Lilith. She was nobility, a cousin of the emperor, sweet, kind, nurturing, the epitome of a noble woman, and the mother to my youngest son, Elendor. Then there was Morrigan, my first wife. She was with me from, well, forever, I think. Cunning, deliberate, always seemed like she was 3 steps ahead. I don't know, the details are fuzzy, but I always had this hunch that Morrigan was more of a chosen name than her real one. She even insisted I call her Princess Morrigan, despite having no royal blood that I knew of. We were on a task together. That's the whole reason why I came to the continent of Auroros.
Well, it certainly seems like fragments of your memories are returning piece by piece. Can you remember what your task was? Yours and Morrigan's, that is.
Nope, not even a little.
Did she die then? Sorry if that seemed a little abrupt, but why did you remarry?
No, she didn't die. She chose to leave. The moment our son Aerith was born, she left us.
Damn. Sorry to hear that, man. Did she leave because of the pressure of parenthood?
No, that's the strange thing about it. All she ever wanted was a child. The moment our son came into the world, it was as though she found her truest joy, a radiance like no other. That day, her happiness was unparalleled. Yet, in a cruel twist of fate, that day was the last day I ever saw her.
Well, I'm absolutely lost.
I have a few theories. However, none of which I have even close to enough evidence backing them for me to share them.
Why not? Just tell us. We're not going to judge you if you're wrong.
It's not about you judging me, I just don't feel comfortable sharing it.
Why? I thought we were close. I thought we were family. There's no reason for you not to feel comfortable around me. Tell me, Saxy.
And it's precisely because you're family that I'm hesitant. If someone came to me with a theory about someone I loved, casting shadows on every memory, I'd resent them for it.
Saxy, I won't resent you. Whatever it is, it's just a theory, right? We're just talking. I need to hear it.
All right, fine, here it is then. She never loved you, Tronald. Morrigan, she was playing you all along. She used you to climb into a position of power. And then she used you again to have a son, see? It's a terrible theory.
Damn. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would she use him to have a son, then abandon that son?
Unless there was a reason why she left using using Lord Tanaver yet again, by making him raise their son alone while she was off doing whatever she wanted.
It's not entirely far-fetched if you think about it. Her only desire was to have a child, yet the true purpose behind that wish remains a mystery. Consider this. If someone seeks a child with a person of not only a mighty bloodline, but also of eminent status, it's quite plausible that her intentions were strategic, not affectionate. She likely saw the child as another tool in her arsenal, a means to an end, rather than a product of genuine love.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Lunaria.
What does it even matter now, huh? All her grand plans, her cunning schemes, they're irrelevant. Aerith, Lilith, Elendor, they're all dead. And do you know why, Lunaria? Do you understand the bitter truth of it? They died because this so-called powerful bloodline was nothing but a farce. They're gone because I, the man who was supposed to protect them, failed miserably. I was too weak. They're all dead because of me.
See, that this is exactly the reason I didn't want to share it.
Whether you wanted to share it or not, Saxy, it changes nothing. My sons are still dead. Lord Tanaver remains a pathetic, spineless excuse of a man. And do you know who else fell because of my weakness? Celestia. That's right, but you know what? I'm done. Done talking about this. It might be too late for Lord Tanavir's family, but it's not too late for Celestia. So how about we get a move on?
Tronald, listen to me. You need to snap out of this and get a grip. You're standing here drowning in self-blame, but you don't even know the full story of how they died. Your weakness, that's nonsense. Let me ask you, if a dragon falls battling a bazillion men, does that make the dragon weak? No, it means the opposition was overwhelming. And what about a strong, kind man deceived by cunning tricksters? Is he weak? No. Strength isn't just about brute force. It's about resilience. Every single one of us here, we've all put our faith in you. You've saved us time and again. You've saved us more times than I can count. Granted, I can't count very high, but that's beyond the point. You are a force to be reckoned with, Tronald. Not just for your magic, but for your sheer willpower. If Lord Tanavir had even a shred of your spirit, I'd bet anything it wasn't your so-called weakness that led to your family's fall. So pick yourself up and show the world the strength of Tronald. We believe in you, always have, always will.
Wait a second, where's little shit?
Little who now?
For fuck's sake. Where's the goblin you captured, Raarh?
Why are you asking me? I left him with you.
Oh my fucking god.
I told you we should have just killed him and be done with it. He's probably halfway back to the Horde, ready to tell them all about our plans.
It's at this point Gaba pipes up.
Hey, that sneaky git weren't going nowhere. You left him in the cellar, right? Raarh sleeps like a log. But me? Gobba's got ears like a bat. Couple hours in, I hears him wriggling and scraping, trying to get loose. So, I gets up, has a little gab with him. Yapped about how he don't fancy Tronald and me being the new big bosses. He weren't too chuffed, so I sorts him out, right? A quick bonk on the head, and out he goes. Dragged him outside, dumped him with his mates. And blimey, you lot sure gave him a right thumping. Proper bashing that was.
Well, I guess the boss has passed his judgment then.
Good stuff, Gaba. All right, I think it's time we leave Clearbrook Farm. Joe, I walk up to Harlan, thank him for the night's rest, for the food, then bid our farewells.
All right. Tronald, as you approach Harland, thanking him for everything, he stares at you for a moment in silence before eventually responding, "You've got no need to thank me, Tronald. As I said before, it's me who's thankful to all of you. You folks have done more for me and mine than you know. Remember, you're always welcome back here anytime, you hear? Safe travels, friends, and may fortune smile upon you all." And with that, your group turns away from Clearbrook Farm, traversing the fields scattered with the remnants of your recent battle. The goblin corpses, a reminder of the dangers you've faced and those still lurking ahead. As the farm's image gradually fades into the distance, each of you contemplates the journey. The looming physical confrontations with the goblin horde are evident, but for Tronald, there are also the mental battles that rage within, battles just as challenging as any physical foe. And I think that's where we will wrap up this session. See you later, guys.